Alright, welcome back to Flight Sim 2024 and welcome for the first time on this channel to probably one of the most interesting aircraft that you can get for Flight Sim. This is of course the black square Starship, and as you can see, a pretty unique aircraft. No tail, first of all, and these twin pusher turboprops. But this aircraft from Black Square has been done to an incredible level of detail, and you'll see the systems are just really cool. It takes a bit of a learning curve, so I've done one test flight in it. So we're going to see today. We're parked on the ramp at, I'm going to get this name wrong, Ciudad del Carmen International Airport in Mexico, which is MMCE, and we're taking 7 corporate passengers up to Springfield in Illinois, but we don't actually have the fuel to go direct there, so we are stopping at KGLS, which is Galveston, I believe, and then from there we will carry on to Springfield. So that's the plan for today's flight. So our first leg up to Galveston, 829 nautical miles. We're cruising at 35,000 feet. So like I said, 7 passengers on board, and we're full up on fuel. So we're going to be pretty heavy today. I'm flying this on FSEconomy, so I picked up this aircraft here in New Mexico, and it's eventually going to make its way down to South Africa to be based at Lanseria. But there was a nice job. This job on FSEconomy is paying us 25,000 monies, so I didn't want to give that up because it's a nice chunk of money. But anyway, let me stop rambling on, because we need to actually jump aboard here and start getting things set up, because the setup process on this aircraft is very detailed and we need to get it right, otherwise you can blow things up and break things. So let's start doing that. Okay, so let's come down here to the tablet, and what I do want to do is just close the door. Right, so I've launched the FSEconomy flight, and you can see it's kind of spread the passengers all over and stuff. Full up on fuel, and we are looking, we're about 100 kg, no, not quite 100, just under 100 kgs overweight. So that's interesting. So FSEconomy obviously has a slightly different idea of the maximum weight of this, because in FSEconomy we are 53 kgs underweight according to FSEconomy. So we'll see, but what I want to do is get external power. The rest of this is fine, and then we can start switching things on. So I'm going to switch on the battery, and I'm going to get all of these on so we can get our checklist, and I'm going to switch on to the external power. Right, the one thing I didn't actually do in my previous flight is mess around with the lights. So I think we're just gonna turn all of these up for now, and we'll see. Okay, not the windscreen wipers. So these are all the displays. This actually might be too bright, considering that it's early morning here. Oh, that's actually fine. Nice bright cockpit though, but I think it'll be okay. Right, so we can come in here for our normal procedures. So we are going to do pre-flight checks. So parking brake is set. Don't release the parking brake by mistake, because it disconnects your external power. You'll have to go back to the tablet and enable that again. Okay, we can click here. Control locks are removed. Landing gear lever is down. Battery is now on. Okay, all of our trims should be neutral. Fuel quantity, so that's down here. We're full up on both sides. Let's just get this synced up for now. Cool. Oxygen pressure. Cool. Wow, it's hot in here. I don't actually know what this is, but I know that our things are closed. Yeah, I don't know where to find that. Battery off. I'm not going to do that, but these are all done because that's external stuff. Right, let's go this way. Okay, circuit breakers are down here. Not these. These. I think there's some... No, none on that side. Okay, cool. Okay, these panels. So we want to be on... That's correct, on inches. Cool. Okay, seatbelts, parking brake, audio panels, static source set to normal, oxygen supply, pull on, masks. Okay, landing gear, anti-skid, set to anti-skid. Center panel, all looks fine. Standby instruments are on. Standby. Now this I'm not sure. I think it's this here, but it only comes on if you click it. I'm not sure if that's what it actually means. Okay, power levers. This is important. So this has beta thrust. So your throttle by default, you shouldn't actually pull all the way back. So we need to be in idle. There is a setting over here. This. If you turn this on, you can go into beta during flight, which is a very bad idea. So I've got that off so that in flight, if I want to go to idle, I can just pull my physical throttle all the way back and it'll stop there, which makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so now they're idle and props full forward. Right, condition levers, fuel cutoff, bleed air off. Temperature mode is just on this side. It's set to off. In fact, maybe I should change this view to be here. Right, batteries on. Triple fed bus. More than 22, yes. Center, more than 23. ICAS is on. Firewall fuel valves are up here. So, push, and they should say closed. There we go, and we should see those extinguisher lights. Cool. Standby pumps are down here. Turn them on. And we have fuel pressure low. Open. And those go out. Standby pumps off. And they come back on. Transfer left, and that light goes out. Right, and that light goes out, and we see transfer over there. Cool. I'm not sure where this indicator is either. I still haven't found that. Let's just close these actually. This is just behind the props here. Right, we see that there. I wonder if we open the cabin door, will that help with the temperature a bit? It is very loud though. Maybe it's just, it's 35 degrees outside. Let me actually look. No, it's 25 degrees outside. Sure, so having the door open doesn't appear to have much of an impact on that, but it is very loud. So let's close that, and we need to I wonder if any of the... if any of this will work. Obviously for this we need the engines on. But do we have any... like these? Will that do anything with the engines off? Let's see if that makes any difference. As you can see, we've actually got a cabin temperature warning up here. Okay, what were we doing? That's done. That's done. Cool. Cool. Fuel quantity. Oxygen pressure. Lights are good. Okay, we're going to start off of external power. So battery. More than 20 volts. Prop levers to feather. So that is all the way down. Okay, now we need to turn off these. ICAS pilot and co-pilot avionics. That's a problem because then we lose our checklist. So it's this one. Oh no, not this one. Next one. Okay, so generators should be off, which they are. Battery is on. External power is connected. Let's just see. We have 28.1, so we're just on the limit, but it's probably because we're running all this stuff. External power switch on. Oh, now we turn the ICAS on. I think I'm going to have to turn these off. So, switch. So right engine switch on. Wait for 12%. Then up to start. Make sure that it doesn't go above 1,000. Check for the oil pressure. Then up to run above 65%. Then we do the same for the left engine. Okay. So let's see if we can get that right. Right, so that goes on. Looking for 12. There's 12. So that comes up to start. This doesn't go above 1,000. Oil pressure and temperature. It's stable, so this can come off. Let's start both. So, oh, this needs to go to run, and then I'm going to pull this one down manually. Start engine left. Okay, there's 10 and 12. That got close to 1,000. Much hotter than the right engine. Okay, let's switch that off, and this can come up to run. Then I'm going to turn these back on so we can get our checklist back. Okay, so those are done. That's done. Oil pressure. That's done. That's done. External power switch. this is weird. Why do we switch the external power off? I'm going to do the generators first. Because otherwise, if I do this now, we're going to lose all power. Yeah, that's very strange. Okay, so right generator, reset, and then on. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. We should do these and then disconnect external power. Okay, but that's done. That's done. Okay. Right gen 28. Cool. Same thing on the left. Reset and then on. Left generator 28.6. Right, gen tie is normal. And the generator load paralleled, cool. Prop lever is now full forward. Yes, what I didn't actually do is set up my route and everything before loading the, before starting the engines. Okay, that's done. Standby indicators, bleed valves. Let's get this air running so we can sort the temperature out in here. Right, that'll start coming down now at least. Okay, we're just gonna do this today. So we can check, not that one. Right, we don't need de-icing. Okay, we're cruising at 35 today. Set it there. It's done. Cool. Okay, now we need to set up our route. Okay, this is quite an interesting system. So let's go flight plan. So we are going from MMCE, so we click that one and then letter to give us M, so we'll do that again, and then C, we'll click this 3 times, E will be 2. Okay, first waypoint is Kanto. Then direct to mid. Then Kelly. Oh, messed that up. HLI. Okay, then Laurel. Ebert. KGLS, which is our destination for the first leg. Where's G? There. And then LS 809. So the extra would have been the approaches, which we can't put in here. We're gonna have to fly VOR approaches and stuff like that. Cool, that's good. VNAV. We are expecting... Let's see. So by Kelly, we should be at our cruising altitude. Right, so let's put in 35,000 over here. We'll still be at that altitude at Laurel. Okay, this should be FMS. Right, let's continue. So autopilot we can engage. And then disengage. Right, we're coming here. So we actually have a left wing down trim for takeoff, which is interesting. Right. Then these little canards here, when you lower the flaps, actually move forward. And I might be wrong, but I believe they also move depending on your speed while you're flying. So now we have them forward for takeoff. Flight controls, auto feather, armed, standby altimeter. All of our altimeters are set 2997. Okay, still wanting heats. Pitot heats. But, oh, these we need to actually do just before we get to the runway. Okay, we're expecting runway 31 today, which is actually in front of us. So we can just taxi out that way. Nice and easy. And we can turn that on. That's all good. Cool. We are cruising today at 35,000 feet. Like so, that's good. Right, then we can set our speed initially for 180. Let's go and change this display. Right, that's all good. Let's get out of here. Okay, brakes released, and we're actually going to use quite a bit of beta thrust because otherwise it wants to really run away. Okay, so just before we get to the runway, pitot heat's on, ice protection we don't need, vents and cable heat on, bleed air is already on both, transponder on, enunciators and ICAS messages. Oh, our alternate blower is still on for some reason. Okay, lights, cockpit lights, windshield heat low, auto ignition on, check the lows, and trims are good. Then we will be heading mode and IAS mode. Okay, landing lights. Right, pitot heats, windshields low, auto ignition, auto feathers armed. Transponder. Take off at 100% and 1700. Sync up the heading, and then we are good to go. So parking brakes released, we'll hold it on the brakes, go up to 100% torque, 1700 RPM, and a max of 850 ITT. Okay, so the 100% is going to come first. There it is on the left engine. Right, here we go. Airspeed's alive. Gear coming up. Flaps coming up, and you'll see the canards come back as well. Right, let's get the autopilot on and yaw damper on as well. Okay, Okay, we're gonna back to 90% for the climb. And 1600 RPM. Then let's turn out towards our first waypoint. There we go, so 180 knots to 10,000 feet. We'll do 160 to 20,000 feet. Okay, looks like we will be going through the clouds for a little bit. What a cool aircraft. And these systems are so unique. Okay, and climb. So, oh, why did this? Interesting. I think I must have clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Climb power is set. Prop sync. Engine display. Cabin pressurization is working, and lights. There's 10,000 feet, so we come back to 160 knots climb, and we can come up here and turn off the lights. Okay, nice and warm, 13 degrees outside, so you don't have to worry about icing at the moment. coming through 15,000 feet. Let's also just come down here and go nav mode. Now. Okay, 20,000 feet, we go down to 140 knots. Set standard. We're climbing at a decent 2,000 feet a minute. Weather at our first destination. 27 degrees, winds 210 at 4, no clouds, QNH or altimeter 3001. Okay, 20,000 now, back to 140 knots. Also has your noise cancelling headset if you want to get rid of a lot of the cabin noise. Right, let's bump our torque back up to 90. Now we are ITT limited, so we'll keep that below 850. So it gives us a torque of about 81, 82. Still climbing at a decent rate, probably 1800, 1900 feet a minute. Okay, that's more like 1650. Still good. Right, watching that ITT. 26,000 now. ITT is coming up again. That's going to keep rising as we keep climbing, so that's fine. Otherwise, everything else looks good, in the green, no issues. Yeah, 27,000. At 30,000 feet, we switch to 130 knots, and we'll stay there all the way up to 35,000 feet, which is our cruise. And then we back off the power to be just below 840 ITT, and we can stay at 1600 RPM. Okay, climbing at about 1,400 feet a minute now. 28,000. Right, 30,000 feet, back to 130 knots. Just climbing, climbing just less than 1,000 feet a minute, but we're 32,000, 3,000 feet to go. we're just crawling up now. 34,000, only 1,000 feet to go. And we're probably going to cruise along for the next 2 hours or so. 2 hours, 40 minutes. That'll drop a little bit when we reach our cruising altitude. So we're probably looking at about 2 hours, 20 minutes, 2.5 hours worth of cruise. Fuel looks good. Maybe we'll even risk going all the way to Springfield. Feet to go. Oh, that was interesting. 22 degrees in the cabin. Everything looks good. Right, we can pretty much leave the power where it is. So 835 and 833, that's perfect. 1600 RPM. Auto feather can come off. Lights are set. Engine display. Fuel quantity. Very nice. And we'll pick up a bit of speed now. So I think we can cruise along for the next 2.5 hours. And I'll join you again just now when we prep for our descent. Okay, so we're about 90 miles away, and actually, if we come down here, we've got plenty of fuel. We're still more than 50%. I don't think we can make it all the way to Springfield. So what I've done is planned to extend to Jacksonville. Yes, KLRF. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll continue on that way. It's in the correct direction. And then we'll judge again based on the winds and stuff. Because we did have a bit of a tailwind. Now, not so much. So we burned less fuel than I expected initially. But now I think we're going to be burning more. So it doesn't look like we'll make it all the way. But I'm pretty sure we can make it up to Jacksonville. So let's go and change our route. Well, what I'm going to do is we go here. We can keep these waypoints. And then it's this one. So let's replace that. Okay, the next waypoint is Carmen. It's Kamen. Okay, that looks good. Then, after that, we go to Dart. Edouard. Litter. Oops. And then KLRF. There is our new plan. Otherwise, everything's looking good. Temperature's nice inside here. Some storms below us. All good. We'll just keep cruising along at 35,000 feet. If we take a look at the weather for KLRF, so Little Rock says cloudy, scattered clouds at 25,000 feet. Okay, so that shouldn't be an issue. There are instrument approaches. There's an RNAV and a TACAN approach and an ILS. So winds are 30 at 4. So the only one we could really take is the ILS 25. We can't do RNAV in this aircraft as far as I'm aware at this point. So if we work that out, okay, so wind direction 30 degrees, wind speed is 4 knots. Then the runway heading, if we go and look, .252, and it'll give us a 3-knot tailwind, which I think is okay. Anything less than 5 should be alright, so we can plan for the ILS 25. But obviously we'll just keep an eye on that weather. If the wind changes, we might have to just go visual. She looks pretty rough down there. Okay, but according to Navigraph, that's put another hour and 15 minutes onto our flight. Let's take, so our current fuel flow is 285. Because that is giving us over 3 hours that we could still continue for. At that rate, we might actually be able to make it all the way to Springfield from here. Okay, let's assess it again once we get closer to Jacksonville. Yeah, those are done. We come here. Yeah, these tanks are empty. And you see, yeah, my calculation says endurance of 3.2 hours. Well, my calculation said 3.4. This is saying 3.2. Actually puts us a lot further than Jacksonville. I'm just going to do some... I'm going to put Springfield in on Navigraph and let's see what it gives us. Hours, so maybe we actually can make it. Right, according to this, it looks like we will be able to make it. Okay, we'll keep Jacksonville as an alternate then. And we can redo those calculations once we get a bit closer. And if we need to, if we're not going to make it, we can always then go into Jacksonville anyway. Okay, so let's come down here and do our route again. So all of this can stay. We just, we can actually keep that in there. That's fine. then we add, right, so after that we go to Igloo. Igloo, T-Ray, STL, KSPI. Cool. That's now in, and according to Navigraph, we're looking at about another 2 hours. And we should have enough fuel on board to do that. The weather doesn't look great, but as long as this doesn't get a lot worse, we might actually be okay. Right, let's check the weather. KSPI. It says it is completely clear there. No clouds. Winds 290 at 26 degrees. Obviously that can change in the next 2 hours, but nothing to worry about then. It seems like we can at least get away from all of these storms. In terms of approaches, so we can do, there's a whole bunch of VOR approaches and then 2 ILS. We've got ILS for 3-1 and ILS 0-4. So 3-1 will work. Oh, there's ILS 2-2 as well. 3-1 would actually be better, so we can do the ILS to runway 3-1. Okay, it's time to start prepping for our descent. We actually made it. We've got a bit of fuel still left on board, so no issues there. We did have a bit of a tailwind. It's now more of a crosswind, I guess, 30 knots, and skies are pretty clear here. So weather at KSPI, temperature 28, winds 0 at 5 degrees. Altimeter 3005. So let's start prepping for our descent. So airport elevation is 598, so 600 feet. So I think we can basically dial this all the way down, because that's 1500, right? Okay, that's done, that's done. Done. We'll leave those for now. Power and lights. So let's come down here. We are going down to 2100. Actually, 2600 first. And we need to descend at about 2000 feet a minute. So let's go to descend mode. and that'll pick up our speed quite a bit. And you should see it should automatically adjust to keep us just below the red line. There we go. I think I'm going to add in a little bit of power because we're descending a little quickly. Actually, we're 2.3 now, so we're pretty good. Right, the other thing I found is that you can actually load on-nav approaches. If we go here, okay, we've already loaded the ILS, but it did allow me to select on-nav, so when I tested it, maybe that airport just didn't have RNAVs. I don't know, it didn't let me select any of them, but or they didn't show up at all is what I mean, but it seems like you can do RNAV approaches. But we have ILS 3.1, and then I believe it's going to, if we go here to nav, oh, this should be on auto, and then I guess it'll tune that ILS frequency automatically. I think it will. We'll keep an eye on that. The frequency is 110.15. Just passing through 25,000 now. so we've descended a bit quicker than we really need to. So keep an eye on that. Down to 2600, we intercept at 2100. Course is 308, frequency 110.15. I wonder if I can dial in 308 here already. That is 18,000 feet. 3005. We need to descend about 1,500 a minute, and we're doing less than that. So we're okay for now. Keep an eye on that descent rate and the vertical speed target. The torque back a bit. So obviously as we descend that's going to change. So the approach we have takes us to the VOR first, but since the visibility is so good, I don't think we really need that. So I'm going to take that out. So let's delete this waypoint. Oh, I would have to. It's part of the approach, so let's just do this. to approach, and then you can see now, if I scroll down, we actually have ILS. Oops. And there the RNAVs there as well. So ILS 31, and then it would be Caldi, I think. Yes, that's better. In fact, I don't think that's the right one. It would just be vectors. That's what I want. Okay, we just need to get onto this intercept now. Probably gonna turn us right. No, perfect. Okay, backing off the power a bit. Just watching the descent rate and the target vertical speed. And watching that our descent mode brings us below 250 knots. And there it's coming up to 250 now. And we're just about to pass 10,000 feet, so that's all good. Seatbelts coming on and lights coming on. Frequency is set, course is set over here. Might need to set it with this one as well, but we're still following the FMS route, so we'll leave that as is for now. 1,400 required, and we're at about 1,005, so we're okay there still. I'm gonna make basically a 90-degree left-hand turn. There we go. Okay, localizer alive, glide slope alive. We are well above the glide slope, so I'm bringing the power back. Sure, we're a bit high. Okay, I have control. Gear, flaps, lights, autopilots, prop sync, radar, yaw damper. Okay, bringing the props back to 1700. Okay, we're back onto the glide slope now, but the runway is in sight, so I'm not too stressed anyway. Why does it say gear in transit? That's not good. Seems like we have a problem with the gear. See, why is it lit up red like that? There's no other warnings. I thought I heard the gear lower though. Sure, there's nothing in here about gear failure. See, and the pneumatic pressure seems fine. No green lights. Landing gear alternate extension. Guess this would have to be down. What does it say? Remove pin. I don't see a pin. Lift handle. How many times do you have to do this? Should it have worked by now? Until all three green indicators are illuminated. We have none. So I want to see, do we have a failure? Yes, we do. So I believe the gear has failed. Interesting. So, let's say we could get the tower to check. They can tell us that the gear is down. Why did my mouse seem like I could click on something there? Okay, so we are gonna have to try with the gear extended as it is. We're getting a bit slow here. Okay, let's flip this over to VOR. On the approach mode. Come down to 21. The runway in sight. So I'm just gonna have to try and touch down nice and gently. The only worry is with those green lights not illuminated is that, yeah, the gear's down, but it's not actually locked in position, and that when we touch down it can just collapse. Control. I wonder if... this is actually what I was looking for. Nothing about gear. Okay, well, here we go. Do my best to put it down nice and gently, and then we hope for the best. Yeah, gear has collapsed. Okay, I'm gonna shut down the engines. To be fair, I probably should have shut down the engines before touching down as a precaution for this happening. Yeah, well, FSEconomy doesn't care. Okay, let's just switch everything off. Ah, I see, we got a green light for the nose. Maybe I just had to keep working that lever a bit more. Right, I think that's it. so that the model still has it out, but obviously it's counting that gear as collapsed. It seems like we might have saved the props by scraping on this wing. Okay, well, I guess it could have been a lot worse. I switched the battery off. Yeah, I did. Engines are okay, it seems. I mean, that'll be just normal wear and tear, so that's fine. So, show active failures. Gear controller. Minimum time before failure, I guess that would stand for 10,000 hours, and we got it on our first flight. Sure. Oh, it's probably not minimum, it's probably like mean or something like that. So you can see, I mean, there's not some of these things. It's thousands of hours before they should fail. But we got a 1 in 10,000 on our first flight in the Starship. However, I would call that a successful emergency landing. FSEconomy doesn't care, so our flight still counts and we'll get our 25k. But we did make it safely into the airport. Everyone would have been able to walk away from that landing, so we'll count that as successful. But that means no taxi in or shutdown procedure. That means that's going to bring us to the end of the video. I should have shut down the engines just before getting to the runway so that we could do as little damage as possible, but I think in this case it kind of worked out. We scraped it on that wing, and I think that our props didn't end up touching the ground. Well, we saw there was no damage to them, so I think we're good. But anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Not the ending that I expected, but if you made it this far, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, you know what to do down below, and hopefully I see you in the next one.